Oh my God. um, okay, we're there. So almost, I'll let you know. So hold all your energy, energy, energy. any theater.
I had 3 shifts today. My energy is gone.
All right. All right, we're ready. I'm going to share this, but feel free to get started. Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of Neithernor RPG Stony Harbor campaign. Have we ever done that? Any kind of introduction?
No.
Let's all introduce ourselves. Yeah.
I want a TMP style introduction, like with the video and the whole thing. That's what I want.
Oh God. And now when I watch a YouTube video and the intro is 7 seconds long, I'm like, I'm skipping it. It's too long. But back in the day, I can't believe it was like 40 seconds long.
In the fall of 2017.
It was rightfully dramatic.
CJ Bernstein.
I feel, and also 10 people were watching it. So it was really for you guys. And I would sometimes put like Doge in it. Do you remember? Just for you guys, just for you. I'm going to now pop this in the Briar Society dispatch. Feel free to get started.
Yay. How is everyone doing, by the way? So good to see all of you.
Hey, Mike. Hey, everybody.
Energy.
Energy. Yeah. I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Where were we? Oh, that's right. You guys had dinner on the ship, didn't you? Well, some of you.
Well, some of us did.
Yeah. So after the event at the lighthouse, you all took some time to kind of come to terms with just the idea of magic and how it works in the world, considering that by that point you had known, you had actually been, I think, part of the covenant for less than 24 hours. So it was kind of a lot in a very short period of time. So you took some time for yourselves. Several of you took some time in the Coven Hall by yourself to sort of like see what it could do. Some of you had some rather fun shenanigans with the dishwasher, of course. And you were also, the information that you gained at the lighthouse, you wanted to share that with Captain Darliana Vance, captain of the Eratosthenes. You reached out using the Neither Courier service, and she invited you to dinner. Those of you that could make it. So those of you that could that were able to make it went to the ship and had a rather lovely dinner. And she actually showed you a sunset, and you're fortunate enough to see the green flash, which is something that doesn't happen very often. But fortunately for all of you, the conditions were just right. During the dinner, she asked you some questions. You shared information about your adventure in the lighthouse. And she explained a bit about what it is that she and her small team do on the ship. The majority of the people that are on the ship are actual academics, marine biologists doing various studies. Darliana uses that as sort of like cover for her and her team to study the well that is on the bottom of the ocean beneath the ship. And they've collected a number of items which those of you that were there had a chance to actually see some of them. She sort of like displayed them. She herself does not have any magic abilities, so she is unable to determine what is or what is not magic. However, many of you were able to go, oh, that's magical. That's clearly not. So because you were attuned to that. She did show you one object that seemed to drink in the light, and it gave all of you kind of a bad feeling, sort of like an uneasy queasiness in the pit of your stomach. Not quite sure why. So, but she documents what she finds, and there was a big map on the wall that shows where everything was found, the date, the location, and then it is packaged with that information and then shipped off to an inland facility where it is further studied by people that do have magic inclinations. During your dinner, one of her associates, a young woman by the name of Dr. Janet. Yes, Janet Shea. Yes, Janet. Dr. Janet. So Janet came in, and basically she has a contact that sent her a very interesting video. In that video, you saw a young man being questioned by two security officers. And during that interrogation, after one of the security officers left, when what you assumed, because there was no audio, to get the person being questioned something to drink, the other man placed an object on the table, what looked like a metal square framework with a sphere inside. It was glowing rather brightly, and sort of like the poor quality of the video, it sort of like washed out that little area, so you weren't able to get quite that good of a look at it, not too terribly detailed, but you were able to see what it was. And at that moment, that's when the person being questioned, the young man, did something, and his shadow, or not his shadow, but the security guard shadow, reached up from the table, grabbed him, and slammed him down on the table, rendering him unconscious. The young man then simply stood up, grabbed the object, and walked out. They have not seen that person since. What was interesting was that the person that was being interrogated had an ID that seemed official. It did not seem to be faked, but the information was wrong. For one, the man was part of something called a Starlighter cruise, where they take people out to do stargazing out in the ocean. And the name seemed to be reversed, and the hometown was incorrect. The city that the ID said was the city of Lenin, and there is no Lenin. There's only a Lennox. So that seemed odd. And of course, having Bailey, the person's name was Bailey Carter on the manifest, but it said Carter Bailey on his ID. So they were a bit confused and just trying to get to the bottom of that. And that's when they found that object, and something strange happened to the shadow, and he escaped. Being that they weren't law enforcement officers, they weren't sure where to go to, who would believe them, but Dr. Janet's contact forwarded it to her, and she was showing Darliana, who in turn showed it to you, and you offered to investigate what that could be all about. So she sent you some more information, one of which was the fingerprints found on the table that belonged to the young gentleman being interrogated, along with Bailey Carter's fingerprints that were on file when he spent some time as a substitute teacher. You're required by law to submit your fingerprints. When you do that, and they didn't match. However, I believe it was Thea that figured out that they were mirror images of one another. Because when you got back to your coven hall, Thea went to the coven tome and drew a sketch of that object into the coven tome, wondering that maybe the coven tome might have some idea of what it is, what it does. And after drawing the sketch, all the coven tome said was, "Beware the reflections." You weren't sure if that was a bad 80s new wave band or something a bit more nefarious, but that's what it said, "Beware the reflections." And that's what sort of tipped you off to look at the fingerprints and realize they were mirror images of one another, including a scar, which is a bit odd. So realizing that something clearly was off with this gentleman, and that this gentleman was not above violence, that you needed to look into getting some sort of defensive magic. So you spent some time actually studying different paths of magic you could take, things you could learn. And you learned, because up to this point, everything you've been doing and learning has been innate. You sort of like feel and know how it's done. But as you were doing research, you discover like, oh, it actually has a name. Oh, there's a process to all this, and there's more that you can learn. You learned that the spell that Carter Bailey used, or Bailey Carter, you're not quite sure which is correct, seemed to indicate that he was in fact a Celestant. So that's sort of where you left off. You wanted to learn more, sort of like regroup, focus on how best to approach this, what to do next. And that is where we are. So what would you like to do?
Like
First off, where are all of you right now? Are you out living your lives?
I think Eric has definitely come back to the guild hall. He's collected a couple of like little teacups and saucers that have just been lying around the coven hole, and snipped one of Thea's little flowers that she planted, and he's put all of those into the dishwasher um, for the poor dishwasher. And he's just been going back and looking at all of the books, trying to discover more about these guilds that he's stumbled across.
Okay. As you're doing research, you can see you see that there are in fact 6 guilds, and that each guild has 3 branches, so to speak, and that with each of those branches comes a sort of a group of spells that people, it's sort of like people that sort of like fall into that particular category have an affinity with those spells. And you notice that your research seems to call them affinities. And that you and again, some of these things that you already know, you're sort of like putting names to this. Oh, that's an infinity that I know. Oh, this is why. And something that's interesting too is the idea of that some of you may not have realized, but there certain spells and certain affinities are either material or wrought, and that when you use wrought magic, there's a chance that it could leave you not feeling very well. So you realize that there's sometimes there's a cost to using these magimistic abilities. When the dishwasher stops, you open up, but instead of teacups and saucers with flowers on them, you see flowers shaped like teacups. So.
Can I replant the teacup flowers to keep them going?
If you wish. Now keep in mind, they're flower petals in the shape of teacups.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'll add them to Thea's little garden that she's got set up.
Okay.
Do the teacup flowers smell like bergamot? I'm just completely sidetracking everything now.
Earl Grey.
Which contains bergamot.
Actually,
So Alex,
they don't smell like anything. They've just come out of the dishwasher. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, so Alex wasn't around for the things that happened during the last session.
Mm-hmm.
So he just sort of just now sort of strolls in through a door from his office to the guild hall. He was called away to do some officious things, and now he's he's ready to rejoin the group.
What's going on in Stony Harbor? Like there's usually, like, this is the peak tourist season. Like, is there a big event that's going on that's sort of like getting your attention?
It was the opening of Crab Fest. So
okay.
As mayor, Alex had to give the opening festivities address.
Okay.
He had to do the official pardoning of the crab. One crab gets pardoned and thrown back into the ocean.
Okay.
So he did the official pardoning of the crab, and kicked off the celebrations for the week of Crab Fest.
Okay. I would say that gives Stony Harbor the aspect of being overcrowded. Yes. So it is very easy to get overstimulated just by being in Stony Harbor at the moment.
But I want to give Stony Harbor the aspect of happy hour specials. So the restaurants in Stony Harbor, like the one that's located in the boat, Spirits, for example, they all have discounted alcohol during happy hour during Crab Fest. So things might be a little bit more raucous than usual too.
Absolutely. I'm kind of curious how Spirits is faring the moment. Considering that Spirits is primarily a local place, but have the tourists found Spirits, do you think?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, maybe like some of the tourists that are maybe like some of the more hipstery tourists that aren't above going to a Halloween themed bar in the middle of July.
okay. Very good to know. All right. So you were away taking care of that. The rest, so you come into the Coven Hall, and are all of you in the Coven Hall doing your research, or have some of you gone out to do? Yes, Noah, Lonnie.
Lonnie also wasn't at the previous events, and I'm also gonna chalk that up to it's tourist season, and there was an incident or two with people who should not have boat license but have boat licenses. So her like Alex like just is getting there off like some horrendous shift and is like just catching up and being like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing now. That sounds way better than.
And you actually and during your time having to deal with drunken boating revelers, you actually remember hearing, obviously it was too far south from where you are up in Stony Harbor, but you actually remember hearing the call of the Starlighter cruise that Bailey Carter was on, taking on water and the people needing to be evacuated. Obviously, so you remember hearing that call, and it's like, oh, that's unfortunate. Obviously no one was getting hurt. No one was in danger of drowning. It was, and of course the ship was completely salvaged, but you do remember just hearing that.
With it,
Yeah, you were too busy, trying to corral drunken skinny dippers or whatever. Yeah. Okay. What about Carolyn, Thea, the two of you?
I'm just listing in the chat. I'm just listing my specials.
I had a feeling
Spirit
that's
specials.
what Ginger was laughing
Just so you know.
Oh my gosh.
Just so you know.
But yeah, with the opening of Crab Fest, I'm sure that I had to go with Scuttlebutt to go and cover that, much to his chagrin.
Yes.
And of course, I wanted to get away from his energy as soon as possible.
Yeah. And Scuttlebutt, he's the kind of person that obviously just thrives in that kind of environment, that sort of chaos, that just madness going on around. He just drinks it in. He likes to be in the center of it all.
And then complain about it because it's Crab Fest and he shouldn't have to stoop to cover that sort of story.
Right. Yes. And of course he's telling you exactly what to film. Like, oh, did you get that? And you're like, yes, I got, yeah. Mm-hmm. You've got it. So, I mean, you,
yep.
his way of micromanaging you. Yes. Thea, what were you doing?
So I was probably, at work when I had to be, but the town's overcrowded and, all the places I go for, quiet after work are loud and busy now. So probably spending non-business hours in the Coven Hall, just researching and that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. Margaritas and corpse of politics. Nice. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Time out. No Flemin' drop shots. No.
I knew that was pushing. I knew that was pushing it.
The narrator is drawing the line.
I have to give a catalyst.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yes. If you want to pay a catalyst, you can. But,
otherwise, no Flemin' drops.
Yes.
That's so gross.
So I will say this for Lonnie and Alex, when you walk in, you notice that obviously like some of the dishes that are like on display on the shelves look a little different. They have interesting new patterns. One looks like it's covered in stamps. You see that there's actually like a landline phone, like one of those old plastic Garfield phones, like sitting on like a little side table nearby. So it's sort of like, so it looks similar to the last time you saw it, but it's definitely a little bit different. There are other things going on. So you come in, and I assume that the rest of you explain to Lonnie and Alex what is going on. And I will let you guys figure out what sort of plan moving forward you would like to, or what sort of move forward you'd like to plan.
So Alex gets caught up by his guildmates on all the things that happened with dinner and what they talked about the aboard the research vessel, and this mystery of the mirror folk and the discovery of the guild bearings and things. He's really interested in that, and he's got sort of like a special attachment to the Coven tome. So he spends a little bit extra time sort of with the Coven tome, sort of asking questions and reading answers and about his guild bearing, his guild and his guild bearing, and what types of things that would allow him to do, and sort of reflects on his experiences with magic and sort of how that all makes sense in light of the new information that he's learning along with his guildmates.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and as you do that, you're seeing you'll see symbols come up for each guild, and sort of like a visual representation for each guild. Go ahead. He's
definitely like a behind the times know-it-all, though. So he'll be like, "Oh, hey, Eric, you must be and Eric's like, "Yeah, I figured that out." And he's like, "Oh, wow, Thea, look at this!" Like, Thea's like, "Yeah, Alex, get with the times."
I feel like after the initial, like, oh, there's a name for these things, and like listening to Alex just give me the Spark Notes version of everything that people have already learned. I feel like Lonnie would definitely like try to focus on studying, because like our goal is to like learn some defensive magic, right? So I feel like she would definitely try to help focus on it, because like a lot of her like top skills are like notice, survival, like it just seems like something she'd be more attuned to.
Okay.
Like, yes, if you come over and see Eric's little workstation, you'll just see like just books and books of just pretty much defensive magic. I've been learning and practicing, or trying to practice a few of them. One of, I think, my favorites, which I'm waiting for, Nolene, you'll probably be able to help me out with this. I really want you to hit me with something hard, like a bat or a sword, or let's like see if we can get a battle axe in here for you to swing at me.
I have Shore Strike, so I could use my phylactery to like be like melee weapon. I don't like saying that word. I'm very self-conscious about it. I mean, like, I will actually hit you with a real weapon if you really want. I could go find one.
I mean, it's possible you could try manifesting a battle axe if you want.
Thea could do one. She's a fantarist. She should be able to whistle up a battle axe, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so suddenly Alex is like an insufferable expert on everybody else's powers.
So Thea's working on something, and she just hears she can make a battle axe. Like, sure. Deeply concerned, just so very concerned.
Yeah, you don't even hear the reason why. You're just like, oh, she can make a battle axe. It's like, okay.
And she's gonna, because making things, but she's concerned.
What does the battle axe look like?
Well, so there's probably like nothing super fancy because we're going fast, but she will sort of up along the handle. There's going to be like vines curving around like the shaft, and then a rose onto the axe head.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Fancy.
Okay, so Thea makes this gorgeous battle axe. Now what?
like manifest like a practice court or something. Like, do we have somewhere in case Eric really messes up? We don't blow up the dishwasher.
Well, Cass isn't. We might want to wait until Cass is around, just in case.
Or
things don't
while
go as
Mum
according
is
to-
out,
Now's the time to blow stuff up.
while the cat's away, the mice will play. I say, let's get this on. And Eric's just holding this book that's got black and white checks all over it, and the title of it is Chess Moves in Magic.
Okay.
And he's pointing out a spell that he's found, and it's called Queen's Defense. And he's like, guys, I've got no idea what I'm doing, but I want to do this.
I don't know that this is a good idea.
They is gonna just like slide a pair of safety glasses over to Eric.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
All right. Has anybody studied healing magic, just in case this goes awry?
I might have a band-aid.
Like,
She like starts digging in her backpack.
It was above basic first aid, like I know mortal healing.
I mean,
Basically the same.
It's true. It's true. Both Eric and Lonnie actually have extensive first aid
Like we have at least
training. Yeah. So at the very least, if Lonnie lops off Eric's arm, there's a good chance that she can prevent him from bleeding to death.
Okay. And I know where the hospital is, and so we can
you can just
knock our way to the hospital. Okay.
Well, then, should we scale down the battle axe and maybe just go with like a dagger or a kitchen knife?
Does it have to be a blade? Is there a reason it has to be a blade?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a baton, I suppose, but I mean, stabby is kind of fun.
No judgments.
Light judgment.
No judgments. Lots of judgments. All the judgments.
kind of like these shoes. I really want you to
because Queen's Defense reads, when struck by a weapon, the caster can absorb the weapon into their body, suffering no damage and disarming the opponent. And basically, Eric, it's one of his unmastered spells. So Eric's like, I want to see if I can give it a red hot go and manifest it. So if you want to strike me with a baton, I'm
Alex asks to see the book, and he kind of like looks at the book, and he's like, well, the theory's sound, and he like hands the book back to Eric, and he's like,
while this is happening, Faye is gonna look for some sort of like the equivalent of a pool noodle to just sort of like slice open and put over the sharp edge at the very least.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Like your baseball bat kick around if you don't want us to use the fancy axe.
I'm down for a baseball bat if someone wants to go Harley Quinn on me. Are we allowed to say that? Is that copyright?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how are we?
I don't know.
We had a whole thing with the Garfield phone last week. I think we're beyond copyright issues at this point.
Alrighty, well, who wants to come at me with a baseball bat?
One thing first, and if it goes well, we can do the stabby stab.
Okay, yeah.
You can level up,
Alrighty. Nolani, do you want to come at me with a baseball bat?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So she's got a lot of aggression to work out. I don't know if you guys have been around. Like, don't know how docs work. It's incredible.
Stupid people on the water. I can only imagine. I've seen Jaws.
Okay.
And Mike's just like, I was not ready for combat this early in the morning.
I'm
And I'm like, yes, if it's got my teammates, I'm so for it.
Yeah, I also wasn't ready for dishwasher shenanigans, so I say let's run with it. Let's do it. Okay, so Lonnie has the baseball bat. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Read the spell to me again.
Ready. Queen's Defense. Wrought. When struck by a weapon, the caster can absorb the weapon into their body, suffering no damage and disarming the opponent. The weapon is automatically expelled at the beginning of the caster's next turn. It is a per session spell.
Okay.
Yeah,
Once
it's
per
rot.
session.
It's rot too, so be careful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I would like Lonnie and Eric to both make fight checks, just because this is the first time that you're asking somebody to hit you with a baseball bat. Your instincts may kick in. You may try to just get out of the way.
So my fight is an average, and my roll puts me at a +2.
Okay. How'd you do, Lonnie?
And my fight's at +2.
What's your roll?
+2.
+2?
+2.
So I'm sorry. So you rolled a +3, so you're at a 5. Correct, Lonnie?
No, she's at a 4. She rolled 2 pluses and a minus, or 3 pluses and a minus, then +2.
Right. So 3 + 2 is
No, 2
5.
+ 2.
Oh, 2.
No,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The
gotcha,
minus takes
gotcha.
away one of the pluses.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I
And-
left flat real quick.
Right.
Eric got 2 pluses, a minus, and a neutral. And his fight is at an average, so it works out to be +2 overall.
Okay. So, Lonnie, describe to me how you hit Eric with this bat.
Lonnie definitely will aim for center mass, so somewhere here, and she just gives her full momentum just towards midsection. That's how she's hitting him.
Okay. So she full on just, Hank Aaron comes across and hits you in the chest. When you cast the spell, what happens?
So it is an unmastered spell. So I don't fully remember how it works at all times. Is there a disadvantage to the unmastered spells?
I don't believe so. I'll have to double check, but I think it's based on the roll that you do.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
So, but because you cast the spell, you will have to make a will check to make sure because of the spell sickness. But other than that, the spell works. So describe to me what that looks like.
So Eric is there holding his book, just rereading it. But as the bat approaches, this shimmering armor that looks like an old medieval knight comes up, starting from the floor all the way up to to his head. So it's got the boots, the chest plate, all of that sort of stuff. And it's decorated with all of these flame insignias coming up the side of it. And then as the bat strikes the center chest piece, it almost looks like white flames protrude out of the armor and grip onto the baseball bat.
Okay. So now the spell, you absorb this into your body. So you see the flash of armor. Everyone sees the flash of armor. I mean, there's that weird, oh gosh, that weird uncomfortable feeling when you see that Lonnie's not holding back. She's like, all right, let's see if this works. Swings, and the armor flashes and it hits. And you see the armor sort of like curl around the bat. And it all happens so fast. And it's almost like it just sort of like all of it just like rolls up and just collects it and just sucks it into your chest. Like everything is whoop. Like, and the bat, you feel the bat just pull out of your hand. Like you feel the impact, like it hits, but then it's like the bat still keeps going and it's just like sucked right out of your hands. And you're just standing there. And as you're standing there, like, well, first of all, make me a will check, please.
Eric?
Yes, Eric. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm looking right at you. Why does it? Yeah.
Eric got a +3.
Okay. So yeah, you suffer no ill effects from casting the wrought magic. And you know that you have a short, limited amount of time before this bat comes back out. But it's where you kind of like feel it. I mean, you can't feel the whole thing in your body, but you feel like there's something almost like, when you get like a lump in your throat, it's like that kind of feeling. You're like, oh, okay. It's weird because you know that there was a baseball bat or is it a cricket bat? What kind of bat did you use? What kind of bat did you manifest?
Baseball. We're in the
baseball.
States.
Okay, baseball bat and also this magic mystic armor. Somehow it's all bundled up inside of you, and it lasts until the end of your turn, your next turn, beginning of your next turn. Is that correct?
At the beginning of the caster's next turn, yeah.
Okay, which means that all of you have a chance to hit him with a weapon if you want. So now Eric, now's the time. And there is a battle axe sitting there with, of course, pool noodles over the blades. But nevertheless.
MP is just going, should I?
Do it.
I assumed I handed it off to someone else. So
Okay.
I don't have it.
Okay, so you don't have the battle axe. Alex, Carolyn, do either of you have the?
For posterity, so that we have it for research purposes.
Okay.
And because it looks.
We just hit him. You can just pick up a chair. It doesn't got to be the thing.
Alex has the battle axe upside down on the floor, and he's like resting his hands and head like this on the pommel, just watching this whole exchange.
Keeping the battle axe at arm's length from Eric.
Yeah, keeping the battle axe away from all of the other coven mates.
Okay. So even though all of you, the rest of you recognize that this is a golden opportunity to strike someone with a weapon, you choose not to. And that's when, Eric, you feel the bat you can feel it wanting to come out. So when it does, it's almost like you can control where it materializes. So you, like your hands on the top of your head, at your feet, whatever you want. So what happens?
Yeah, I feel it starting, like the energy starting to like surge up into like from the pits of my stomach, rise up into my chest. And I kind of like put my hands out in a batter's pose. And all the energy just flows down into my arms and gives me the bat in my hands, ready to go.
Okay. So and you just sort of like, and you all see as he kind of like strikes that batter's pose, he just does this, and you see like almost instantly the bat is in his hand.
Nice.
We have magic.
You have magic. You hear a little round of applause coming from inside the dishwasher. The Garfield phone rolls its eyes.
Alex rolls his eyes. Me and the Garfield phone are going to get along famously, I feel.
Just wait until I put the Garfield phone in the washing machine.
I told you last time that wasn't going to happen.
One day, everyone is going to leave me alone in the Coven Hall, and it's just going to be me and the Garfield phone.
Oh my word. Oh my word.
Alrighty. So Eric has figured out how this magic thing is happening. And he's gotten a little shoulder bag, and he's just collected a couple of the books that he's developed a bit of a bond to, and he wants to just have with him for future reading.
Okay. All right. Well, you know that the defensive magic works. So any other spells you would like to test before going out into the field?
Alex has a spell that he wants to test. He was reading it in the Coven Tome.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks it's really interesting, and he wants to give it a shot. So he's not sure exactly how he wants to manifest it. But it's elemental animation. You gather one of the 6 magimistic elements, form it into a shape of your choosing, and animate it. Create an aspect for your animation based on the chosen element. Your elemental has this aspect, a single stress box, and one skill at great, +4, and the remainder of its other skills at mediocre. Your elemental acts on your turn, and its actions replace your own. If the elemental takes a single point of stress, it is removed from the scene. So he kind of puts his hands to his head like this, and kind of squints his eye, and you see this like mist come out of his ears and sort of gather around into this little cloud. And the little cloud has a tiny sort of graduation cap on it with a little tassel. And it's the element of thought, and its aspect is knows more than you do, and it has +4 to lore. And he sort of has this like really bizarre conversation with his little elemental about
what do you talk about?
We talk about the guilds and their
Mm-hmm.
and their affinities, and this and the practical aspects of spell casting, and what other elements there are available to make elementals out of. And
this thing loves to hear its own voice.
Yes, it does.
It cannot wait to explain everything to you.
Yeah, it mansplains things to me, basically.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. And you know, in a tiny little voice, but yes, it mansplains everything to you. And like it goes on and like breaks down the etymology of words to try to help you understand like the root mal means bad, you know, and just like going off and just like doing all just going off on these wild tangents while still sort of telling you stuff you already know, but trying to do it in a way where it has a chance to explain things that you don't know. Very neat. Okay. Does it interact with anybody else in the room?
Can we ask the thought aspect about the light catcher?
I mean, you can ask it anything you want.
Alrighty.
It has +4 to lore. So Mike, should I roll for lore?
Yes.
With this thing?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I got a +5.
Okay. And you're asking specifically about the thing on the ship that sucked in the light?
Yeah. So I'd like to ask whether the light catcher is somehow related to the object that Carter Bailey Carter had in the interrogation room. Is that something that the thought aspect
So the thought aspect. What does it look like? I know it's got the graduation tab.
It's like a little purple cloud with
Okay.
the eyes, a mouth,
Okay.
and like
So
a little graduation cap.
So you see see little like purple misty hands kind of begin to stroke his chin. It's like, well, I'm quite unsure. You see, I don't know exactly what it is this Bailey Carter Bailey thing person had. If you could describe it in great detail, please. Was it a rhomboid, a hexagon? Please. What was it made of?
Ooh.
What in the world makes you think that it's different or the same? And the light catcher. Explain that to me. What did it look like? What was its shape?
So the light catcher we've got a little bit more info about because we were actually there, but it's like a wavy sort of a lantern thing, and instead of it being like a lantern that projects light, it was like a lantern that sort of swallowed it instead.
Oh yes, well, there's sort of things that could do that, I suppose. Perhaps it's let's see. When you say wavy, sort of a fractal or more Fibonacci?
More Fibonacci.
Okay, excellent. So let us do the math. And he starts, he goes off on a tangent about like the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio and how it applies to photography and how photography captures light. So it could be that because of the form of the lattice work that you described as being more Fibonacci, that maybe that because of, he tries to tie in the idea of photography into this thing. But ultimately he says that without actually seeing it, he can't give you an accurate description. However, generally things that do drink the light is not the only thing that it drinks. It is other things that it could be pulling into itself. It could be a person's spirit. It could be magimistic energy. There are a number of different things. So he doesn't want to give you the wrong impression. You get the sense that he's hesitant to tell you because he's not quite sure and doesn't want to be wrong. You can tell that he's not he's not a creature that likes to be wrong about anything.
Yeah.
So he's giving you sort of like a grab bag of possibilities that it could be.
And then I'd like to turn to all the other coven members and go, well, if this is how the light catcher behaves, possibly whatever artifact Bailey Carter discovered acts in a similar way. Because we got the video sent to us, didn't we?
Yes, you have the video.
Can we pull up the video on one of our tablets, or can we stretch the Garth phone out into a projector and show everyone the video that we got sent to us from the crew on the Erythrosthenes?
Absolutely. So you pull up the video and you're holding this video up to this tiny little purple cloud with a graduation cap. And it's sitting there, interesting. And then the object comes in and he's like, oh yeah, that is a Murdrum hexahedron. That's what that is, yes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Murdrum hexahedron. Murdrum. It's a palindrome. It's a palindrome, actually. Murdrum. Murdrum.
Murdrum hexahedron. Thank you.
Yes. Murdrum. As in murder. But a murder in secret. Usually murdering someone you don't know. In fact, I believe that is why this was created. As sort of a way to actually protect oneself. You see, this has the ability to search out simulacrum, others like you, and other. How much of dimensions and planes are you aware of? do you have a firm grasp on, say, well, string theory was debunked a while ago, as it should have been. But anyway, do you have any sense of, well, the universe in which we live, the multiverse in which we live? Do you have any sense of anything outside of this room?
Yes.
I'll try to dumb it down. Basically, that little box was used as a way to find a copy of oneself in another dimension and swap places, because the person believed that they were to be murdered. And so therefore, they created this magical device to swap with another person like them from another dimension, and that person would be murdered till they were dead, and then swapped back and still be alive.
That seems very cruel to,
Oh, of course,
to allow another copy of yourself to be murdered in your stead.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. I didn't make it.
I know.
I simply. Yeah.
I summoned you. I know you didn't make it.
Okay. Yes. Very good. Very good. But I have to ask, why do you want to know? You don't plan on using it, do you? No one's coming to harm you, are they?
No.
Hopefully not.
We've been in contact with some researchers on a vessel. I think that you guys would actually get along quite well. And they gave us this video and asked for our help on the matter because their resources are stretched quite thin at the moment. And this entity attacked one of the guards that was initially sent to investigate this boat, and we just want to ensure that everyone is safe. And if this other version is loose in our reality, does that mean that this is the copy that was escaping their dimension into ours? Mm-hmm. Or was our copy of Carter Bailey Carter accidentally find this and accidentally activate it and swap himself with with his parallel version that is less than kind?
Well, I don't proclaim to know much about human nature, but of course I know much about human nature. I would say, for the body language that I saw from your Carter Bailey Carter character, that he seemed to be quite knowledgeable of what the mergium hexahedron was. So therefore, it would indicate that he was the one that was actually from another dimension coming here, and therefore swapped with the Bailey Carter Bailey that was here. Or would it be Carter Bailey Carter? Oh well, neither here nor there. I think the person that is here in that video that had the device is the one that is clearly running from something, I would believe. If, of course, they are using the mergium for its intended purposes.
Lab thing. I don't know if it has a name. Are there a finite amount of these devices, or how easy or difficult is it to create one?
Oh, it's very difficult. In fact, I've only heard of 2 or 3 ever being used in various histories, of course. I've never seen one myself, what I tell now, until this stream. What do you call that thing, that little sort of window into another dimension? Is that a mergium as well? What do you call that?
We call it an iPhone.
An iPhone. Oh, because it is an eye that looks into another world. Fantastic. Well, clearly you have incredible powers yourselves. I'm quite impressed. And here I thought you were simply dolts. Fool am I. Yes. And then so with your iPhone, according to the image, like I said, the body language would seem to indicate that he was from somewhere else coming here. Perhaps to save his life.
But putting ours directly in harm's way.
How do you come to that conclusion?
Well, if he has used the device to escape a murder in his dimension, he's come to ours to escape it, which means that our version of Carter Bailey Carter is going to be the one that gets killed.
Most likely, of course, yes. But the thing is, it's temporary. Well, not the murder. The murder is permanent. But the switch, yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
The switch is temporary. It doesn't last forever. In fact, it only lasts between 48 and 72 hours, I believe.
Why take it out? Why put it on the table if that wasn't part of the shadow work that he did? Why take it out at all?
I must confess, I'm unfamiliar with your law enforcement protocols, but it would seem to be that they found this device on his person and wanted to ask him questions about it.
Okay, yeah.
And that is when he used his magic abilities to make the security guard's shadow reach up, grasp him, and slam him unceremoniously to the table. Very rude, if you ask me.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Cloudy. I don't have any other questions for you. Does anyone else have anything they want to ask?
Well, if you have nothing further, I'm going to go ahead and peruse these books. I'll be right back. And sort of like floats up to the bookshelves and he starts like kind of like Sky finds one, pulls it out, and like it's almost like a wind just as he stands it.
You see Alex actually has like a bead of sweat coming down his forehead as he's like intensely concentrating on maintaining this spell. And you see as the spell gets longer and longer, you see the effort is just more and more and more. And eventually he just caves. You see him sort of take a deep sigh breath, and the cloud just sort of poof disappears.
The book goes thunk.
Well, that worked. Huh?
It does.
I like him. He was fun.
You all right after that?
I don't think I can do that again for a little while. That took a lot of effort.
So we have.
But I think I could probably summon a different element if the need arose. If the need arose.
A standy.
Alrighty, so we have access to magic. We now know what device we're coming up against. Do we go see Grandma Lorraine and see if she has any tips with dealing with any other Magimystics? Or do we try to go down the coast and apprehend Carter Bailey Carter?
I think if the time is finite on this Murdrum hexahedron, then I don't think we have any time to waste.
Alrighty, well, we look around and we can't see Cass, and we open up the door into Spirit's bar, and we just see her swamped with patrons at the bar. So we gently close the door, which is just it's kind of appeared where the storeroom would be. So it's not to the patrons, it's not just a door opening up in the middle of nowhere. We close that and we go, well,
it's actually like the ice bucket that they have behind the bar. So she like opens it up to get some ice for a drink and just sees all your faces like looking up at her, and like you can just hear the noise and all the patrons coming out, and she's just like, guys,
she slams it down. She just slams the lid down.
Slam.
I don't need you guys. I need ice.
Yeah.
Go away.
So we hear a muffled, just a minute. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, I'll get your gin and tonic. Just 1 minute.
Margarita, coming up.
Yes, we make daiquiris. Yes, hold on.
Are you sure you wanted that on the rocks? Are you positive? Because I think you want it neat, actually.
And you hear her slam her hand out like, no, you can't have a McKellen and Coke. Are you insane? So that's to all my Scotch fans out there. So obviously she is very, very busy, swamped. Spirits is brimming to the rafters with a lot of people. So what would you like to do? Would you like to, are you gonna just like steal our car keys for the mom van mystery machine? The mom van? Or are you going to?
Yeah. So Alex reaches his hand back through the door, and you see a hand come up through the ice bucket and kind of like reach around and finds her keys, grabs like what he feels like her keys and pulls them down through the thing. And as he's doing that, Cass is like trying to like push his hand.
The last thing you hear is, fill it up before you bring it back.
Oh man. She's
So,
like,
And
yeah,
Cass has left it on a quarter tank just for emergency. So we're like, she stiffed us. She's getting a full tank out of this.
we hear, fill it up before you bring it back. Yeah, I was talking about the Bud Light keg. Yeah, the Bud Light keg.
So you are fully aware that she is swamped, but you have the keys to the mom van if you wish to take it. Her request to please fill it up before you bring it back. So what would you like to do now? I'm going to say it's mid-afternoon. And you do know that the town of Lennox is probably about 2 hours away.
Well, going at night is probably not going to be in our advantage because we already know that this guy can manipulate shadows. But we really don't have a choice if we want to save our Dimensions version of Carter Bailey Carter. So I think we're just going to have to risk getting into a uncomfortable situation, and we're just going to have to go if everyone is comfortable with that.
At the same time, if we end up like going around or coming back at night, that means less tourists to have to sift through. Maybe. Depending on how like we should.
I don't know. There's happy hour specials. It might get pretty crazy at night here.
He's over in Lennox, so we will.
I mean, getting through to Lennox might be a challenge. Getting out of town. I mean, I guess we could knock there.
How do we
Can we knock all the way to Lennox?
Have any of you ever been to Lennox? Anywhere in Lennox?
Yeah, Alex would have been to Lennox.
Okay.
Like he would have like a mayor's summit or,
Okay.
I'm not sure if that would necessarily be within.
Like he would have been there.
Well, you do know that what you do have. You do have a copy, an image of Bailey Carter's ID, his driver's license. That was part of the information that was sent to you along with the fingerprints. So you know his address. And you can find and Alex, I would say that you know that your time in Lennox would get you probably within a couple of miles of that address, like a place that like a gas station or a meeting space, something like that.
We look it up on our iPhone.
Just gonna say, if we look it
up
up at Google Street View, does that count as knowing the place?
That's a really good question. Try it.
I don't know that we want to try it, Mike.
What could go wrong?
Many things.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if Lennox would be within that particular news station's sphere of coverage. If it were, potentially I could have gone there with Scuttlebutt to cover something.
I would say that you and Scuttlebutt have been pretty much everywhere in the state. So I would say that you have been to Lennox. And you've been to a number of different places, just like like doing various shoots, finding the right street corner to stand on for the feel good pieces that he likes to do. A couple of places like the Heart, you remember doing a thing about like around 2008 when right before like the whole housing market crashed. Going down there and doing a thing down there too. So yeah, you've been there, so you can get pretty close as well.
Okay.
So
We just took Cass's keys, so we could also just drive there.
I think driving there would probably be safer, because if we are dealing with a Magimistic, he might be able to sense us coming through a door. Whereas if we drive, yes, we are arriving at night, which plays into his hands, but we keep the element of surprise.
Well, also, if it's early afternoon, a 2-hour drive, it would still be sunny,
it's
yeah.
mid to late afternoon by that time.
Yeah.
I'm down for a road trip. We can swing by White Castle and get some more sliders.
Sold.
Eric's not in the playlist.
I am okay with not being in charge of the playlist if we can swing by a convenience store and try some Twinkies.
Sure. You got it. Because we have to fill it up with gas anyway, so.
I'm not sure what the gas mileage on the mom van is, but I'm pretty sure that you're definitely gonna need to fill up at least once to get there and back. You were able to knock your way close to Spirits outside where Cass's mom van is parked. You have the keys. You're able to get in it. Head to White Castle. Hit through the drive-through. Get a bunch of sliders. When you stop for gas, you grab. Do you want like an individual packet of the Twinkies? You want like a whole carton of Twinkies?
I want a 6-pack.
I think there's like 8 in a pack or something.
I want a 4-pack of Red Bull personally.
Okay. All right. So Red Bull, Twinkies, any other junk food that you would like to have?
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky. Excellent. Okay. So you get a host of delicious junk food, a full tank of gas, and you head to Lennox. Are you heading straight to the address of Bailey Carter?
Also known as Carter Bailey.
It's the best lead we've got at the moment. So unless if we swing by, was it police that got him originally, or was it?
It was ship security. They're not actual. Yeah, they're not actual law enforcement officers. In fact, Lonnie, these type of people. They're
all cops, but for boats.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, they basically
your power trip, because like when you're on a boat, there's nowhere to go, so everyone's forced to rely on you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also a safe bet that they tried to get in the Coast Guard but could not for a number of reasons. So again, this is their little fiefdom, and they run it with an iron fist.
And definitely take breads.
Oh yes.
I mean, I haven't thought about how Lonnie feels about these people at all. What do you mean?
Have you ever bribed with Lonnie?
Have I bribed?
Have you ever bribed people like that before?
No, I think Lonnie's tendency would either be to play dumb with them, be like, oh, what? I didn't know that, like, I wasn't supposed to do this, or it would be to like flex, be like, well, actually, that is a violation of, like, and just like start citing like regulations to them.
So you like pull rank, okay?
Yeah, it should be like, oh, like, no, I could actually arrest you if you would like, instead of them like, trying to like, it'd be one or the other, I feel.
Okay, all right, good to know. Okay, so you're in the mom van. Lovely trip. You find a playlist that everyone can enjoy. All enjoying your junk food if you want junk food. So the question becomes, do you go straight to the address, or is there anywhere else you wanted to go first?
I think that we should try and gather more information from the guards before approaching him, because we can assume that, well, I mean, hopefully the guards haven't given his information over to the real cops, because if they had, it would mean that he wouldn't be in his place of residence. Yes? No?
Maybe so. Yeah.
But also, like,
so we need to find out whether these guards were too embarrassed to pass the information along to the cops.
What were you saying, Lonnie?
Like, personally, I don't have a lot of faith in law enforcement, especially, no offense, in the States, because there's just so many like overriding jurisdictions. So I feel like if like those security guards were like, yeah, we had like, this dude was suspicious, and like why this vessel like needed an emergency evacuation, and we tried to question him, and he assaulted one of our guards and he disappeared and we can't find him, they'd be like, you tried to stop somebody and you did done goof and can't do your job. And like, so I feel like they're just like, there's the potential for them to like not be like, oh yeah, that's definitely at the top of the list of things for us to do, like this hooligan on a boat.
And you also remember that when you were discussing with Janet, the idea that those security guards, they couldn't explain what was on the tape, and that they did not, like, it was not their intention to go to the actual police. They just kind of wanted the whole thing to disappear just because they had no way to explain it. And also embarrassed that this guy just walked out. So there was definitely
run into have other people help them, so it would make them look really bad. So I feel like
well then, if that's the case, I think going to his house would be the best port of call.
Okay.
All agree, say aye.
This town, so let's go to his house.
Okay, so you go to the address, and Lennox is a pretty small town. It's actually it's got a small little. It's even smaller than Stony Harbor. But there's like little houses, sort of like in a row. Each are probably like about an acre of land, and the address is like one small little house. And you can see it. It's sort of like a little yellow single level, almost ranch style house, and it has sort of like a longer driveway. You can see that there is a Honda Civic parked in front of the garage. But other than that, nothing's jumping out at you. So what would you like to do? Would you like to drive in, park? Do you want to? So tell me how you approach the house. Well, who's driving? Let's figure that. Who's driving? Who's driving the van?
I assumed he was the dad of the colonel.
So, Mr. Mayor is driving the van. Where do you pull up straight to the house? What do you do? I think we lost Alex.
No.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, you're driving the van. I'm just curious when you get to
Um, I don't think we should pull up to the house. Maybe like a block away.
Okay.
Like maybe we like go by the house, confirm the location. We see the Honda Civic, and then we kind of like go around the quote unquote block. I know it's a smaller town.
Mm-hmm.
But then we definitely like park as close as possible without giving away our location.
Okay. All right. It's you actually can find there's actually a looks like a like a farm field. So there's a little there's like a gate in front of it. But there's probably about 20 feet of space between the road and the gate. And there's enough room for you to sort of like park and, you know, like keep the car or the van sort of hidden by bushes and trees if you want.
Mm-hmm.
When we get out of the car, Thea's gonna like open up her backpack and pull out clipboards or like two clipboards or like something that would function as a clipboard.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, you know, I don't think all of us should go up to the door at once. Who wants to be a traveling salesperson?
Lonnie volunteers to go around back.
Very interesting idea. Who is going to volunteer to be a traveling salesperson, and what will you be selling?
I mean, they will do it if someone wants to come with, but
I'm more than happy to come with you, Thea.
I was gonna say
as
someone who's
backup.
more charismatic than me.
Well, charismatic. I've got rapport with advantage, but I also have a great wit.
Okay, yeah.
Which
I feel like Alex is pretty recognizable, so he
That's
probably
true.
wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to pass for.
Mm-hmm. So if me and Thea go up to the front, Nolani, Caroline, and Alex sneak around to the back.
No. Someone's keeping the engine warm. You know how this works. Clever case of drink before.
Okay. All right. So 2 of you go to the front, 3 of you go to the back. So it's a small house. It's not, and again, it's sort of like it's late afternoon, early evening. You know, there's no traffic. Again, small town, kind of a bit farther out in the country. You're able to get, there are no fences, just very large yards. You're able to get into the backyard. And then Eric and Thea get to the front doorstep, and you can see that there's a doorbell and a door knocker. And you can see like there's like an American flag, like, you know, hanging out from like little post in the front. There's like a swing on the front porch. There looks to be like a tomato plant out front that's not doing too well in the heat. But yeah, it just looks like a everyday normal house.
All right, so I guess we ring the doorbell.
Okay. You ring the doorbell. Ding dong. You don't hear any movement. No one comes to answer the door.
Eric will reach up and he'll use the door knocker to rap on the door 3 times.
Okay. You don't hear any movement. Nobody comes to answer the door.
Can we try the door handle, please?
Of course.
Eric would like to reach out and tentatively twist the doorknob to see whether the door is unlocked or locked.
It's unlocked.
I do a notice check or round back.
Please.
Depending on how that goes, I too would like to do a notice if I'm
Okay.
following.
Yes. Please make me notice checks.
I got a +2.
+2.
Let's see here. Let me get back here. Let's see here. 4 plus another 1. So mine's a 5.
Oh, right. You notice all the things. I forgot about that.
So once again, Caroline, your exceptional notice skills. Are you like looking through a window? Are you looking around the house? Like where specifically are you looking at? You know what? Let's do this with that kind of roll. Everything looks normal outside. You kind of like peer in the window and kind of like block the setting sun, and you can see inside. There's no movement. You can see that the place looks like it's been tossed.
Okay. That's not concerning at all.
I'm going to say that with that notice, you see that there are, like you're looking, like I said, the place looks like it's been tossed. It's either that or he lives like very slovenly.
Yeah.
Which is not out of the realm of possibility. But you can like looking, you can see like there are things like stuck to the refrigerator, like with magnets and things like that. You can see that there's a calendar in the kitchen. You can see like the living room. There's a side table, the drawers pulled open. You can see like some notebooks sort of like opened here and there and scattered across the floor. So it's sort of like like I said, it looks like it's been tossed, but it's possible that he just likes to live in clutter.
Okay. I mean, from a personal perspective, it feels a little more, at the very least, somebody who does not normally live there has been searching for something and hasn't cleaned up after themselves.
That's kind of the vibe you're getting, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you see the front door open and Eric kind of peeking in.
Oh, it's one of those you can see all the way.
Yeah, where the window is, you can kind of see around. There's like the living room, there's the kitchen over here, and then back around, there's the front door.
I mean,
like
back door open?
Try opening it. Actually, yeah, it's unlocked as well. Doesn't it? You get the sense that this isn't the kind of place where people regularly lock their doors. Probably not a lot of crime in a small town like this. Also, like everyone knows everyone. So.
Alrighty. Eric would like to. I'll have a glance at Thea, and just check that she's on board to come in with me. Yeah. Alrighty. I would like to continue opening up the door and just start to gently creep inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So both doors are open. Eric, you take a step inside. You don't hear anything. Again, you notice that the place looks like it's been tossed. You can see like all the drawers are kind of like opened. You can see that like their notebooks sort of like scattered on the floor that are left open. There's a bit of a mess on the like the kitchen table, but that's kind of all you guys can see is sort of like standing just inside the doorway.
Alrighty. Is anyone at the back door coming in as well, or are you guys staying outside for a bit?
Yo, Lonnie's hopped up on Red Bull. She's like, "Hello, anyone home?"
So you're saying, "Hey, hello." Yeah. You have visitors. There's no answer. And again, it's just it's one. There aren't 2 floors, just one level. Yeah. So you don't hear anything. No answer, no call.
Does it look like, is there a particular area that looks like it's been searched more? Like, is there like the desk is extra messy, or
the kitchen looks extra messy.
Okay. So Thea's maybe gonna go over there and start and like see if she can look at what's going on.
So you come to the kitchen and you can see that there are envelopes, like mail, all across the kitchen table. You notice that on the fridge, there are a number of pictures, and then also there's a calendar on the wall. The pictures, you recognize Bailey Carter, in one of the pictures, and he's smiling, and he's surrounded by 4 other people, and they're all just like in this giant group, just this group photograph, this group selfie, and they look like they are having the best time. They just seem like overjoyous. There are three women and 1 other man, roughly all in their 20s, early 20s, late 20s, all in that sort of like general area. And they're all sort of like just like taking this great selfie together. And again, Caroline, with that amazing notice, you see that the current calendar year is not there. You see that it's been ripped off, or the current calendar month. So it has been ripped off. So you see that that it's like basically it's like August. You see August, July is not there. It's been ripped off.
Can we do the scritchy scratch? I don't know what it's called.
The what?
The
You'll
scritchy scratch.
put a blank piece of
so
paper
it's
on top of something.
yeah.
And then you like
You
Rub
can
it.
To see if something's pressed into
Oh.
it.
you can
Oh,
Like a
charcoal
rubbing.
rubbing.
yeah, like
It's like
a
a
rubbing.
rubbing.
You can do
the
that.
scritchy scratch.
Thea, as you're looking at the refrigerator, there's something that catches your eye, and it is the it looks like the diamond shape. It looks like a sketch, like a diamond shaped sketch of bow and arrow, the hand that you recognize as being a sketch of Evangard.
Like drawn. You said this was on the fridge, so it's
Yeah,
like stuck onto the fridge, or it's on like etched into the surface of the
I'm sorry.
fridge?
It's like there's a piece of paper with
Oh,
that
okay,
sketch
okay,
on it,
yeah.
and there's a magnet. There's a bunch of stuff magnetized on it, and you see
Okay.
like there's like you see like a photograph of Bailey Carter Bailey on a like posing for a picture on a motorcycle. There's a couple other pictures of him with that group selfie, like other individuals, like just like 2 or 3 of them, just sort of like here and there throughout the fridge. And then you notice that there are some you see some envelopes that are addressed to they look like birthday card envelopes that are empty, that are on the table. I'm sorry, you see birthday cards on the table along with all the other mail, but they're not in envelopes. They're by themselves.
Are they not addressed to, but are they to a Carter or a Bailey? Or
they're to Bailey Carter. So Bailey Carter is the person that basically the driver's license that you have that was sent to you is for Carter Bailey, and that was wrong. It should have been Bailey Carter. So that was what flagged them. So, but these are all to Bailey. Happy birthday, Bailey. And what's interesting too is when you read those birthday cards, a couple of them say happy birthday to the sweetest coven mate anyone could have.
Oh.
Could Eric go over and check out the notebooks that have been scattered around?
Absolutely. You look at the notebooks, and some of them, you can say like one was being used as a sketchbook. One looked to be like an old notebook for like a geometry notebook. But it looked to be like almost like lesson plans being sketched out. And you remember that Bailey Carter, his fingerprints were on file because he used to be a substitute teacher. One appears to be a journal. And you can, just sort of scanning, you can see that, like glancing through the journal, you're reading that not that long ago, he discovered that magic was real and became part of a coven. And that there are 4 other people in his coven, and he lists their names, and he sort of like writes little tidbits about them, like first impressions and like what he thinks of them, and how it's like, oh my gosh, Kennedy can do this really cool thing, and I never thought that was possible, and Hendrix is just the coolest guy, that sort of thing. And so it's sort of like his own personal journal of like being part of a coven. And then he's writing, he starts talking about like what they've been doing with the Coven Hall, and how strange to see their Coven tome like answer questions. Like they'll write things in, and there's a line in there where he says everyone has to pinch himself to remind himself that magic is real, just because it just seems so unreal to him. But it's one of those things where he and his coven mates get together, and he knocks, and he's able to go into the Coven Hall, and it's just the most amazing thing. He talks about what he did with his own little corner of the Coven Hall, and what this coven mate did and that coven mate did. So and you get the sense that he's a really sweet guy. He's a really sweet guy. He's talks about how one of his coven mates is having trouble making rent that month, and so how they all kind of got together and kind of chipped in, and how they a coven mate paid them all back with interest. And so you get the sense that just a really good group of people just like getting together and just having fun learning about magic.
In their descriptions, do we see any mention on where they work, or where any of them could exist outside of the Coven Hall?
I'll tell you what, go ahead and make me investigate checks. Carolyn's like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah, that's one of my +3s. So.
So Eric got a 3.
Really got a 0.
Okay.
Mine ends up being a +3.
+3. Okay, 3 and 3, 0, 0. How about you, Alex?
I'm on mute. Mine was a 3.
Okay, so you guys easily are able to find the names and addresses of Bailey's coven mates. So one is named Lincoln Adler, and I can put that in the
chat.
In the chat. Lincoln Adler. Finley Wilson. Yes. Finley. And Kennedy Monroe. So Bailey's 4 coven mates, and you're able to sort of like figure out so and so lives here, so and so lives there. So you're able to find their addresses.
I feel like they're all last names.
Or all first names.
Or all first names. So I think we're going to be looking for some other transposed names. Maybe a McKinley Hendricks or an Adler Lincoln.
Who lives closest to our current location?
That would be Kennedy Monroe.
Alrighty.
And the addresses are all within Lennox or Lennox adjacent. So nothing is more than 10, 15 minutes away.
Look, guys, assuming that this is everything that we've got to discover here, should we start seeing if Carter Bailey has approached any of his other coven mates.
Wait, have we explored the whole house? Is there like a second story? Is it like
It's a single story.
A single story, but you haven't been to any of the bedrooms yet.
I was like, can you finish exploring first?
Yeah, I think we should probably check out the rest of the house.
And look for
I mean, there's some great leads here in the kitchen, but I think we should probably just quickly
And
scope
is
out the rest
there-
of the house.
Is there like a basement or garage or like a shed or something that could be like?
There is a garage. There is a garage. There doesn't seem to be any basement. But you walk back, you see bedrooms. There are 2 bedrooms. One is being used as an office. And you go in there and you can see that the computer is on. And there's a screensaver going. Just realized, do people still use screensavers? Probably.
I was going to say,
They
Yeah.
definitely come up at work.
Yeah.
Bailey's a time traveler.
Yeah. Anyway, but the computer is still on. It's obviously it has been put to sleep, but the when you kick it, you can see there's an address book that's up. And then in the bedroom, you see across from the bed, like on the wall, there's a big whiteboard that says "Magic is real" with a big exclamation point.
He was so excited.
What do we make of the Evangard symbol? Because we know that the mirror was a Celestin.
So maybe our world is an Evangard.
Oh,
I mean,
Weather Watch and Evangard are on opposite sides
Yeah,
of
they
the.
are.
Oh.
So Celestin is the Eclipse version. Oh gosh, I should know that, shouldn't I?
If it's the eclipse, then it would be directly across from Marantide.
It is. So ideally,
Great.
Bailey Carter is a
it's tough.
it's the Nola Guini thing all over again. In theory, they should be a Marantide. In the notebooks, did it say the guilds of any of the other coven mates?
It did not.
It did not. Okay, sweet. Alrighty, so what address is open on the address book on the computer?
Kennedy Monroe.
Well, that's even more concerning.
But Kennedy Monroe was not the close. It was Lincoln Adler who was closest, correct?
No,
No,
Kennedy Monroe was
Kennedy.
the closest.
Oh, Kennedy Monroe was? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yo, I could check that search history. I'm nosy. But like, I also want to know like what our world person was up to before all of this started.
Okay. You check the search history, and you can see that there is a search for Adler Lincoln and then Lincoln Adler. And there's also a search for Wilson Finley and then Finley Wilson. And then Hendricks McKinley and Kennedy Monroe are normal. You also see a search for Lennon. Again, like search for Lennon, and like a couple, like you'll see the addresses being the address, like an address being typed in, but with Lennon as opposed to Lennox, and sort of like you can see that there's some confusion going on there, but eventually you sort of like figured it out. So that's the search. So it looks like like a search for this address, and then a search, for the actual, or a search for this person's address, and then the address itself.
Wait. The car is still in the driveway, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The Civic, yeah, the Honda Civic.
Yep, the Honda Civic is still in the driveway.
So
Alrighty, so Carter Bailey didn't use the car to go where he needed to go.
You do remember seeing a picture.
Motorcycle.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We keep exploring the house. We find anything fun in any other room?
Can we quickly check out the garage before we start
Mhm.
booking it to Kennedy Monroe's?
Yeah, you check out the garage, and it's got like some like a lawnmower, basic yard keeping stuff. Some boxes look like old like books from college, that sort of thing. There's a stack, like a couple of long boxes of comic books. You don't see a motorcycle.
Hey, Alex, could you do that thing where you see the magic?
Yeah, that I can do. So I'm going to reserve a fate point. And where is it?
Or
yeah.
an observation.
Yeah, or an observation. So Alex opens his inner eye to the currents of magic
Okay.
here in the garage.
You don't get a sense of anything magical here, or that you do get a faint sense that something magical was here, but it's not there now. Like
Okay.
there, you get the sense,
something magical passed through this garage.
Yes.
I can't tell. Let's see.
What's the spell say? Does it say
you awaken the vision of the inner eye to the world around you. The caster perceives an aura of light radiating from magimists or magimistic artifacts in their current zone.
Okay.
Only the caster can see these auras. Mundane people and objects do not emit auras to this spell.
You don't see any of that, but but you see like a slight hint of a glow,
like
of where
like a remnant of an aura or something.
Yeah, like and you imagine that it must have been something incredibly powerful to be able to still have that magimistic aura remain after no longer being here.
Okay. All right. And I convey that to my coven mates.
Okay.
Alrighty. I think it's clear that we're not going to discover anything else here now. I think we need to start getting to Kennedy's place ASAP because we
Agreed.
don't know what's going to happen to him.
Agreed.
Them.
Yeah.
Or her.
Or her.
Or them.
Them. Yep. So we would we exit the house, close the door behind us, head to the mum wagon and drive onto Kennedy's premise.
Okay. Kennedy's address is more towards the center of town, and you can see that like it's a small apartment complex, and you can see that it's only 3 stories high. It's pretty old. It's made of brick, and you see as you're sort of like driving up to the apartment complex, you can see a motorcycle and a lot of other cars parked sort of like in the parking lot right in front of this one little like ground level area.
Did anybody take down the license plate of the motorcycle from the picture? Was it visible? Was it visible in the picture?
It wasn't visible.
It was not visible.
No, it was not visible. But I will say what was interesting is that it was a Janus motorcycle, Janus. Looks like a cafe racer, sort of like a small, slight cafe racer. If you're familiar with motorcycles at all.
But I am familiar with the Roman god Janus.
Yes, which is the I believe what that company's named for.
So he's a collector of vintage motorcycles.
Oh, vintage looking motorcycles, yes.
Yeah. Alrighty. Eric gets out of the vehicle and goes to the front door, and he checks the little call box for either Kennedy or Monroe.
When you walk up, well, you see that they're just doors. There's no, it's not an apartment building where you go inside.
Oh, yep.
There's just sort of like you can see that there are access doors to the apartments at ground level and another at second level. You see that the apartment number for Kennedy is actually at ground level. And so you see that it's like 105. When you approach the door, you can hear laughter coming from inside, and some, like loud talking, laughter. It kind of sounds like a celebration.
Not like evil villain laughter, like happy celebration laughter.
From what you can tell, yeah.
Okay.
Can we make out how many people it sounds like? Like, is it a lot of people? Does it sound like just a few people?
You know what? You could make me investigation checks. If everyone would like to make me investigation checks, we'll see what you hear.
That's a -1.
I got a +1.
+1. Okay. 5. Okay. So.
Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Hold on. It's my one of my.
Is guild skill reroll?
It's my guild skill. Yeah, it's a reroll.
Guild. Oh, cool. It's also my guild skill.
Yeah. No, never mind. That was worse.
That was also. Oh, no, it's a 0 now, not a -1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I have +1's my best.
Good thing we've got a reporter.
So basically, the four of you are like, did they say this? What's going on? And Caroline's like, shh, just shh.
I'm investigating, guys. Guys,
so you hear that there's like raucous laughter. It sounds like there are between 4 and 5 people inside. You're not quite sure what they're talking about, but you do hear the phrase, it was a piece of cake, and then something about how not even worth it. And then a little bit later, like, doesn't matter what's inside of it. Boss doesn't want what's inside. He just wants the container.
Uh-oh.
And then more laughter. And then talking and...
We never received a manifest of the Starlight Cruise from the Aristosthenes, did we?
No.
Is that something like I could go and look up? If somebody had brought this up when we were still...
You know what? Yeah, I would say that you would have access to it. Like if you wanted to find a full manifest of that ship that night, you could. Yeah, you have the ability to access that. Yeah.
Would you have to spend a catalyst to declare a story point for that?
I'll hold on to the catalyst for now.
We're gonna need them. Sounds like.
Yeah. Eric's gonna after Caroline tells us everything that she heard. Eric's going to look at Nolani and just go, "Hey, who else was on that manifest?"
Specifically, any of the other coven mates, because the way they're talking sounds like everyone is in on Carter Bailey's nonsense.
Because if everyone is on that manifest, that might mean that everyone from the other dimension is already here.
So, Mr. Narrator, are they on the manifest?
Are they in the manifest?
They are not on the manifest.
Waste of a login. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah. Bailey Carter booked that trip alone. Oh, one thing I do want to mention, you also did notice that there was a telescope in his apartment along with some like astronomy magazines. So
The boy likes space.
Yeah.
Spell right. Take care.
But as far as the other cover mates, they were not on the manifest.
Alrighty. Do we approach this building similar style that we approached Bailey Carter's premises? 2 at the front,
so-
3 at the back.
Yeah.
Well, if it's an apartment, does it even have a back door?
We'll
It
just
doesn't
like
have a back
wait
door.
along
does
the
not?
side of the walls, maybe.
Yeah.
So just so you know, so there's a door,
Mhm.
and then there's one window, like a larger window right here.
Mhm.
And that's all you see. And then there's like the apartment next door. And
Alrighty.
like apartments on the other side.
Eric would like to wave Nolani, Caroline, and Alex down the way a little bit. He'd like to hold on to his clipboard from Thea from
Clipboard.
before.
Yeah.
And I'd like to knock on the door.
Okay.
They just real quick nudges him and whispers, motorcycle insurance.
See, I was going to go for life insurance, but motorcycle.
Same thing. Same thing.
Yeah. As soon as you knock on the door, the conversation stops.
Alrighty. After waiting a moment
Mhm.
and having no one approach the door, Eric would like to knock on the door again
Okay.
and
Knock on
call
the
out
door again. Yeah, go ahead.
and say, hello, this is Nicholas. This is Nicholas here. I'm wondering if I can interest you guys in Shannon's motorcycle insurance for antique and rare collectible motorcycles.
After a moment, you see like the curtain kind of pull aside, and you see a young woman, dark skin, a lot of hair, kind of like pulled back and tied up in the back, and she just kind of like looks out, and you recognize her from the photo, like the group photo on the fridge. She doesn't have the same spark and smile and joy. There's just like instantly like there's a pessimism and a cynicism. She just kind of like looks out. She kind of looks at, and then closes like that. And then the door opens, and when the door opens, it's a man about your height, Eric. It's not Bailey Carter. But he just kind of standing, he just kind of opens the door, and he kind of like leans against the door like this. You can tell he's a pretty tall guy, so he was kind of expecting like to look down on somebody, but he like he's kind of like looking at you eye to eye. So he's kind of like, and he's like, I don't have a motorcycle.
I was gonna say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, first of all, where are the rest of you? So obviously Thea and Eric are there at the front door, right? Is that correct?
Mhm.
Or is it just Eric?
I'm right there.
Eric and Thea.
Yeah.
Eric and Thea. Okay. Where are the rest of you? What are you guys doing?
Alex is sort of flattened up against the wall on the other side. I'm just on the other side of the door.
Okay. All right. So you're flattened against the wall. Lonnie and Caroline?
I would have found a good place to observe without being observed myself.
Okay. So you're kind of like hanging back by like the mom van, like just like looking at your phone. So
looking at my phone.
Yeah, looking at your iPhone. So Lonnie, where are you?
I would say like I'm just like slightly down the way, just not as suspicious looking as Alex. I'll press it.
All right. Okay. So you're sort of like
still just like maybe like the next apartment or two, like pretending like I'm waiting for someone or something, you know?
Okay. All right. So the two of you are able to. You know what? I'm gonna. Well, okay. Let's do this, Alex. I would like you to make me a stealth check.
Is there any way I can aid him by like
Yes.
sort of jumping in and like distracting the person and being like, I specifically want to say we saw like
We don't
I
just
don't know motorcycle jargon, but I'm gonna like Thea does because she builds stuff, so she's gonna like rattle off. We saw this motorcycle, blah blah blah, registered to Carter Bailey. And I
Okay.
specifically want to say Carter Bailey.
To Carter Bailey.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you do, Alex?
Oh,
I got a 0.
A 0. Okay. All right. Well, I will say that as soon you kind of get the sense that this guy kind of is like leaning forward, and just as he's about to look out far enough that he would notice Alex, like, not at all suddenly leaning back against the wall. You mentioned Carter Bailey, and he kind of leans back and he's like, "Hey, Carter, somebody's here about your bike." And you look in and you can see that that there are 3 other people in the room, and it looks like everybody that was in that 5-person coven selfie is in this apartment. Again, and they're all wearing like gray or shades of black, odd for July. And again, you see Carter sitting there, and they all have like they're like you can see there are a couple of wine bottles on like a coffee table. One of them is clearly empty, and they all have like half full wine glasses in their hand. And Carter is just kind of like sitting on the sofa, kind of like looking at you. And he stands up and he has a backpack, and he hands the backpack to one of the girls standing next to him. He kind of comes up. It's like, "What's this about my bike?" And he's just kind of like looking at you, and he kind of looks up at Eric, and then looks back at Thea. It's like, you're here to sell me insurance? Is that a thing that people do?
Yeah. Look, Mr. Bailey, my name's Nicholas Nicholson. I'm a representative from Shannon's Antique Motorcycle Insurance, and we saw the beautiful piece that you have outside. And look, we were just in the area, and I don't know if you know this, but your current insurer, Pure Springs Insurance, they actually are our sister company. However, we do offer the better deals for antique and antique style motorcycles. So we were just wondering whether we could borrow you for a few moments of your time to discuss some better insurance deals for you.
How do you know my name?
Oh, well, we work, we were so intrigued. We saw this bike and we wanted to know more, and so we talked to our representatives at our sister company that have been working with you for your insurance. And if you step out here, we can show you these, really impressive classic features that should be preserved.
I mean, I can understand your hesitancy because these 2 strangers have just come up to you, but let me reassure you that Shannon's Antique and Antique Style Motorcycle Insurance Company, we're not run for profit. We are actually run by motorcycle enthusiasts, quite like yourself. So us coming to some random stranger's house to talk about insurance, it does seem strange to most other people, but we do it because we genuinely love motorcycles.
You want to buy it? If you love motorcycles, I'll sell it to you right now.
Why would you want to sell it? It is a stunning piece of machinery. Like,
it's all right. I'm looking to upgrade, but I'll tell you what. Why don't you 2 come on inside? We'll talk in here. And he kind of looks at the big guy. He's like, "It'll be fun. How much time we got?" And you see one of the girls in the back looking like, "About 90 seconds." He's like, "Oh yeah, this will be fun. Come on inside. Come on inside." And like ushers you guys inside. And then as soon as Eric, Thea, do you walk inside?
Yeah.
Yes.
You walk inside, and the big guy kind of closes the door, and you can see that like they're like Bailey sort of like points to like a love seat or a little couch off the side, like, "Why don't you guys have a seat? Tell me all about this insurance." And
Are
then he,
we
like,
near the backpack? Are we near the backpack that he like made sure to point out?
You well, one of the girls that you recognize as Finley is holding the backpack.
Okay.
So she's holding. So he handed the backpack to her.
Right. Okay.
So
I thought
she's
he put
holding.
it down.
So she's
Okay.
holding the backpack, and then and they're all kind of like watching you, but they're kind of like eyeing Carter, like this is really, really odd. And then but they're not really saying, or they're all like like Finley's got the backpack in one hand, she's got a bottle or a glass of wine in the other, just taking a sip. And everybody else is just kind of like trying to be casual, but like clearly it's like you just interrupted something and they're not quite sure what to, but they're trying to play along. So so he kind of like motions to the couch for you guys to sit.
Yeah.
Eric is going to clip his or hold his clipboard a little bit tighter.
Mhm.
Sit down, but kind of perched on the edge
Okay.
of his seat, and he would like to pretend to be flicking through some of the papers that he has attached to his clipboard.
Okay. And as you do that, you're sort of like doing that. You see the guy that from the photograph known as Kennedy, who is at this, who basically owns the place. You see him like he's like looking around. You see him like go to like this bowl of fruit on the kitchen table, and he grabs an apple, and he goes to Finley. He's like, "You want one?" She's like, "A red apple? No, thank you." Like, all right, and he just takes a big old bite, and she's like, "How is it?" Like, tastes normal to me. Takes another bite. But while all that's going on, you see that the Hendricks, the woman that you recognize that looked through the screen early when you first knocked on the door, she hasn't stopped looking at you, and she's kind of like looking at. And she's just kind of like studying you guys. You can see like there's something like she's working on something. She's trying to figure something out. So, but Carter's just like he like sits down. He's like, "All right, give me your spiel. Why should I buy insurance from you?"
Eric's gonna do some work. Look, Mr. Bailey.
Wait a minute. And this is Hendricks, and she steps up, and she says, "Say that again."
Mr. Bailey, that is your name, correct?
And then Carter's like, "But," and then the mood changes. Everyone just sort of like the girl with the backpack kind of like backs up. Everyone just kind of faces you. And Carter looks at you and is like, "Who are you and how do you know?"
Ooh, well, cat's out of the bag, isn't it?
Just give it up.
I'm just gonna put this out there. This worked longer than Thea had expected it to.
Honestly, you could play it off as just like a sign of respecting somebody and still trying to be casual by like saying like Mr. Michael or something like that.
No.
Yeah, you know what? Yes. Eric is just going to play completely dumb, and he's going to go
like, "You got me. I'm here to buy your bike."
He's going to like flick through his papers, and he goes, It is Mr. Bailey Carter, isn't it? And flicks through his paper, and he goes, "Oh no, sorry. I had a dyslexic moment. Mr. Carter Bailey. How did I even get that backwards? I'm so sorry if I caused any offense."
It's quite all right. And he and you can see that like no one is relaxing, but Carter is kind of like, all right, play along. So what did you say your name was? Nicholas
Nicholson.
Nicholson. That's the name you're going with. You know what? Make me a sleight check. Or I will say this. What skill would you think you should be able to use to influence this guy?
Literally influence.
Influence.
All right, slightly biased. I think that wit is a perfectly valid skill for this situation because I am in a battle of the minds
Thinking
with this
on your
guy.
feet.
While thinking on my feet while also trying to make them as comfortable and as uncomfortable as possible in the same moment to try and gauge their reactions.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make me a wit check then.
Good.
Can you?
Where is it? Oh yeah, that's nice.
So, it is my great skill. So I have a +4. So that is a +6 overall.
And so Carter just starts laughing at just like he's like I'm not gonna lie, like Nicholson, that's Nicholas Nicholson. That's like the best name I've ever heard of. That's fantastic.
Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is not an amazing name. Unfortunately, I did marry into the name.
I completely understand. Where are you from, Nicholas or Mr. Nicholson?
Oh, I'm actually from Australia. I moved over to the States with my husband about 12 months ago.
Oh, so you're new here.
Fresh off the boat.
Oh.
Well, I mean, 12 months. I've had a chance to get my feet a little bit wet, but
yeah.
You can probably.
As you're explaining that, Finley kind of like walks up and sort of like taps him on the shoulder. And he kind of looks over and she just sort of like casually like taps her wrist. He's like, "Well, it was really nice meeting you, Mr. Nicholson. And I'm sorry, what was your name, Miss?"
Kira.
Kira?
Kira.
Very nice to meet you, Kira. I will say this. I unfortunately won't be able to buy any insurance from you today. And it has been great talking with you, and I'm really quite sad that I won't be able to see your faces in the next, and looks over and Finley's like, 4 seconds. 3, 2, and he's like,
Eric.
Yeah, what can Eric do?
Can Eric lunge at the backpack?
Can at the same time,
Mhm.
can I cast Complexus, build like a something that flash really bright, so he can like go for it.
Okay, all right. So you're gonna do that. Flash something really bright. You're gonna go for the backpack. Okay, so I will let you add 1 to your score for the Complexus.
Okay.
That sound good? Okay, and
Yep,
so
yep.
I would say, I guess it would if it would be a fight rolls?
Athletics or fight?
Athletic, yeah. What would you prefer? Athletics or fight?
Personally, athletics.
All right, we'll go athletics.
Alrighty. It is my guild affinity.
Okay.
Or one of my guild affinities.
Okay.
So first roll, I've got a +3.
Okay.
If we re-roll, do we lose our original roll?
No, I'll let you take the higher one. It's fine.
That's how the guild skills work, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It is a -1, so I will like to keep the 3. Thank you very much.
Okay. So as soon as Finley, she's like looking at her watch, getting kind of done.
+1 for the
Yep.
+1 makes it 4.
Yeah. So 4 versus well, you'll find out here in a second. She's looking down, counting down in a second, and Carter's like, "Wish I could see your faces." And 3, 2, and as soon as you mentally count down the 1, Thea, you do the flash, and it's this bright, blinding, just like the entire room fills with this flash. And as soon as that happens, Eric, you lunge forward and you grab the bag, and as you do, you shoulder Finley, and you feel her fall back as you grab the bag in both hands and kind of fall to the ground. And then you feel, this is going to be a strange thing to say. Have any of you ever been around a cathode ray tube television set when it has imploded?
I stayed far enough away from that. When
Okay,
people
so sometimes when people are children, and this is stories that I've heard, they may go to a junkyard where there are these old cathode ray tube television sets and hit them with baseball bats, and they implode because they're vacuum. And there's a feeling of having the air sucked out of your lungs when that happens. So I've heard. That's the feeling that you experience. You feel this sucking sound, and then as soon as you hear almost like it's like a small little thunderclap, and then Eric, you're on the ground and you have the backpack in your arms, and you look up and you can see Finley on the ground, and you look up, you can see Carter and everyone else standing around you, except they're wearing different clothes and looking very confused.
With the bright flash and the thunderclap, Alex barges into the room.
Okay, so you barge into the room, and of course you see Alex on the floor, almost like in the fetal position, clutching this backpack, and you can see that there are the 4 people that you saw in that photograph. Looking very confused, and of course, Thea's sort of like calmly sitting on the couch, clipboard. Did you extend your hand when you did the flash?
So she sort of like smacked her hands together and pulled them apart, and that like conjured the device that made the flash. So she's kind of like,
okay,
hands like there, yeah.
Okay, so you were able to and just do it super quick. Flash went off. So Alex, you burst in. This is what you see. And there's just everyone's sort of like standing quietly, incredibly confused. And then after about 5 seconds, Kennedy is like looking around and she's like, who are you and what are you doing in my house?
So Thea's gonna say, are you Kennedy Monroe or Monroe Kennedy?
Kennedy Monroe.
Okay, because you weren't a second ago.
Okay.
I'm Thea, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. And she's just kind of like, clearly out of it. And everyone else is like, and she's like, Carter, you okay? You don't look so good. And he's like, I could have sworn I was driving to work. I don't.
Carter or Bailey?
Oh, sorry, Bailey. Thank you, Bailey.
Which one is it?
Which one are you? She's like,
which one are you?
Which one are? She's like, Bailey, you're okay? And he's like, yeah, I could have swore I was driving to work. And then he's looking like, oh man, we must have been drinking a lot. Did we meet you guys at a liquor store or something?
You guys might want to sit down.
Okay.
This is something your whole coven should hear.
And they kind of like. And they're like, wait, did you tell? And you can see they're kind of like, obviously they're trying to like play. By the way, these are not the cool dark cats that you were dealing with like a mere minute ago. These guys are like, oh, I don't know what coven you're talking about. Like that kind of that level.
Trying to play coy.
Like sweet nerds kind of.
Yeah. Again, very, very sweet. Very, very confused. They're looking at the again the bottles of wine that are mostly empty. And one of them is actually holding a glass of wine. And she's like, I don't drink. This is okay. What have you like? Okay, I'm and like and then why and
oh, so I think I just looked this up. The device that I summoned for Complexus lasts for 10 seconds. So while we're talking, they see that disappear from my hand.
Okay, so when they see that happen, they're like, oh, and they're like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, I mean, how did you do that, right? And you can see that Hendrix is back there, and she's sort of like pinching her nose. She's like, I think they know. Hi, yeah, I'm gonna sit down. And so she kind of like sits, and she stops. She looks over at Eric on the floor. She's like, are you okay down there? You feeling all right? Did we meet at a party and things get out of hand? I don't. I'm gonna sit.
Did Eric take any physical damage from his encounter?
No.
No.
Finley weighed probably maybe like about 25, and you shouldered her and just and she went flying, and so you did not take any damage.
Fireman's roll. I'll look at her and go, no, you didn't meet us at a party, but you guys are directly linked to some very, very unsavory people by no fault of your own. By any chance, and Eric would like to start scanning the room, have any of you seen a small hexahedron shaped?
Thea can draw it. She's drawn it before, so I can like sketch it out. Yeah.
So
yeah, and I'd like to ask him: can anyone see this around where we are right now?
So you draw the Murdrum hexahedron, and they're like, I've never seen that before. Is it magical? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Eric would like to.
Magical.
Eric would like to whisper as well. Yes.
And they're like
magical.
And they're like,
why are we whispering?
Oh my gosh, this is so. And then it was like it just opened the floodgates. They're so excited to talk to other people that are aware that magic is in the world. And they, and Thea, you especially, because they watched you do this and draw this thing. They're like just bombarding with questions like, how did you do this? Do you do this? Like, what guild do you belong to? What sort of like guild bearing do you have? Have you figured out what sort of like sister guild you're gonna get into? Just like all this kind. And they're just like 1,000 questions. And they're like, well, I'm this and I'm that. I'm thinking like they're just have like they are in it, and they're so excited that they kind of forgot like everything that just transpired. But you get the sense that they've never seen that before, and they're looking around and they're like, no, I don't see it anywhere. Is that something that you make? Did you make it and lose it, or like
no?
First of all, I'm so sorry. Like, how did you get in here? Like, again?
While they're all nerding out, Alex sticks his head out the door and waves in the rest of his coven.
Okay. So Lonnie and Carolyn, you come in, and again, it's a weird thing to see. You see, Thea basically just like holding court as all these people are just like asking. She's getting peppered with all these questions about magic and how she did this and how she did that.
And she's getting visibly uncomfortable. This is too many people looking to her as an authority figure.
By the way,
Alex sees how uncomfortable she is, and after he calls in the rest of his coven mates, he steps in and says, all right, guys, I'm sure you have questions. Yes, we're another Magimistic coven, and we'll explain what just happened.
Okay. Sorry, I was so hoping you were to summon your little purple cloud.
I can only do it once per session. So
right. Okay.
It's very draining.
Well, that's a wrap for today.
The cloud is very draining.
Complexus was a rot spell. Do I roll for?
Yes, you do.
And that's
just a straight roll.
Okay. That's a +1.
You're good.
Okay,
You're good.
Cool.
So the so Alex, you step in, and again, you can sense that they're not quite, they're not the best with social cues. But once Alex steps in, they kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, we bother her enough. And so then they start peppering Alex. And Alex, you are used to this. You've done a number of press conferences. You've had to deal with, so you're able to sort of like calmly explain things and what you know. So
yeah, I can manage people. I can.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but as far as the object, the hexahedron, they've never seen it before, and you don't see it anywhere in the house anywhere.
Okay. Should we open the backpack?
I was thinking that, but I think that we should try to this is just Skylad talking at the moment, not as Eric, but quickly, guys, we've got like one of two options. Either A, we think that the Mirrorverse people are going to be coming back sometime soon, and we need to get this backpack away from them because we have already, as we can see, they're not the best people in the world if they're willing to use a device that swaps positions with people in case of a murder. We might need to get this backpack away from them.
Yeah, that's why it was created.
Yeah. So, I don't think that we should access the backpack in front of them, just in case it is something that's dangerous.
Okay, we can bring it back to our Coven Hall and figure out what's what.
We just open it out.
Yeah, but
just act like it's your backpack. Just like hey, bye guys.
Yeah, they don't seem to recognize the backpack.
And knocked back to the place using that door.
But we have to bring Cass's van back too.
Well, just to temporarily go check it and get it out of the way so that we're not like in the middle of the highway and then have Mr. Speedy on his bike come up at us in the mom van.
But is it something that we should be leaving unattended in a guild hall?
Then somebody stays behind and babysits it with the Garphone.
So let's keep it with us.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex is allaying the fears of and explaining the situation to the Lennox Guild, the Lennox Coven.
And by the way, when you refer to them as the Lennox Coven, they all kind of like, yeah, that's us.
You gotta leave them like, oh, no paper trail. I was gonna be like, make them follow you on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Well, they of course, by the way, as you're having again, they're very lovely, very pleasant. They're very confused. They are having a very odd, like I said, Bailey remembers he was in his car on his way to work, and then all of a sudden he's here, drunk. He's not quite sure what's going on. They all have similar stories to that, so they're not quite sure what was going on. It's like they just had or waking up from a very bad dream. They are, of course, very excited to talk with you, to learn more about magic. They would love to get your contact information. So if you have any questions for them, they have any questions for you. They just want to be a part of the. They're really excited that they discovered that magic is real, and we're in a coven, and this is awesome. And oh my gosh, there's another coven. This is so cool, and you're only 2 hours away. That's great. Yeah. Follow me on. This is my Instagram. This is my SoundCloud. This is my,
So we exchange cell phone numbers. Thank them very much. Yeah. Thank them for helping to thwart what could have been a dangerous robbery.
Any idea what it was they were going to steal?
No, we're going to bring that back to our guild hall and analyze it. Where we have some proper magimistic protections to make sure nothing untoward happens.
Okay. All right. Well,
the only problem is that we can't risk having it in your guild hall in case if your mirror versions decide to do the swap-a-rooney with you guys as well.
What if the boss finds our mirror versions and swaps us?
Who's the boss?
I don't know. This is somebody that your mirror versions referenced as we were entering the apartment here. We'll figure it. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
And we have some less magical friends who could maybe have a technological solution. Yeah.
Has this guild heard of the Aristosthenes, or they haven't reached out to them?
Oh, they have no idea they exist. They're just like they are.
These guys are 2 hours inland.
Oh,
right?
Don't know about research vessels.
Yeah.
They're inland, correct? They're not on the coast like we are.
Right.
Okay.
So they are, and again, you get the sense that they're also very, very new. Like if not at the same time as you guys discovered your coven, right around there. And you see.
So they've been a coven for 1 day instead of 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're like, we got this. We're an experienced coven.
Yeah, exactly. But
we have a dishwasher, a phone. We have.
Kennedy is like walking around, making sure she hears thief, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, they're in my apartment," and like looking around, and Bailey's like, "Well, we'll have to check all of our apartments to see if they stole anything then."
Thea just sort of goes, "Yeah, Bailey, you're gonna have some cleaning ahead of you when you get home. It's not great, buddy."
Oh man. All right. Well, that's too bad.
Actually, Bailey, just before we go, what did you have planned for this month?
Well, I plan to. We've set up weekly meetings at the Coven Hall. I mean, obviously, work kind of gets ahead of us, so we have we schedule meetings, and we all take turns, sort of like coming up with a topic. So, like I think like last week was my turn to come up with a topic to discuss, and then this week I think it's Finley's, right? Finley, she's like, yeah, and then the next week I think it's Kennedy's. And so we sort of like do that. Different things we want to study. And again, also they discuss the things that our Coven Tome, talks about. Man, I wonder what our Coven Tome has to. Hey, you guys want to see our Coven Hall? Can you do that? Can you go into other Coven Halls?
We
should
don't
be
actually
getting back
know.
to our own Coven Hall to figure out what's going on with this backpack. But we appreciate the invite, and I'm sure we'll take you up on it soon.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, doors always open. Now, obviously, hopefully, like knock first, and this won't happen again.
Don't worry. We'll knock.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you have any emergencies, don't be afraid to contact us on Hot Lasagna.
Oh. Okay. All right. I don't know what.
Call my cell phone. Don't.
Okay.
Don't
all
listen
right.
to him. Just call my cell.
Okay, we'll do. You can see they're kind of confused, and they're like looking at you like, "Oh man, these guys must really be deep into magic." Hot lasagna, like, what's that? Like, you can see that they're all kind of like misty-eyed at what you guys have going on. They thank you. Obviously they're like, you're welcome to stay. As long as you want. It is a 2-hour drive back, so if you want to stay, you can. If not, they understand. But. All their doors are always open. You're always welcome to reach out and contact them if you wish.
Alrighty. So as we get back to the van, should we use the van to knock our way into the Coven Hall?
No, we should drive Cass her van back. We should give Cass her van back.
You would get to tell Cass that her van is 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So you drive Cass's van all the way back to Stony Harbor. I assume you stop to fill it up with gas, maybe grab some more Twinkies. Maybe as you roll into town a bit later at night, you stop at White Castle because it is open 24 hours, get a bite to eat. And then you park the van back at Spirits. You see that Spirits is still going hard. Like Stony Harbor is just hopping, and now it's late enough at night that it's like all the people that were going out for a pleasant meal and a drink have already gone home, and all the people that are out to just basically make a wreck of themselves, they're the ones that are still out. So
the real crab festers.
Yes, the real crab festers. Yes,
like the real hardcore crab festers.
Yeah. So yes.
So we knock into our from like a little like security access door in the back of Spirits. We knock into our guild hall.
Okay. So you open the door. The covenant hall is there. Who has the backpack? Eric.
Eric still has it.
Okay.
Mhm.
You go to walk in, and it's like hitting like a wall of air, and then you like force, and then you're able to push the backpack in. It's like, and as you do, you kind of see things kind of, and then kind of calm down.
Clearly, our governor hall does not want this backpack inside of it.
Should we maybe follow up with the I can't say the name. The boat.
Eratosthenes. The boat.
Eratosthenes.
Eratosthenes.
I think let's open the backpack ourselves and sort of see what we can see.
Okay.
But let's go to my office. It's gonna be.
Okay.
It's late enough. It's late enough. It's gonna be abandoned. It's secure.
Should we give him a call and at least get Morgan and Captain
Darliana, Vale?
yeah. Should we at least get them on their way out? That's her.
Yeah, let's have them meet us at City Hall.
Yeah. Alrighty, so
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do that.
All right. So you go ahead and you call Captain Darliana Vance, and you request that she and Morgan, that was the gentleman that was eating, wearing the flip-flops. You request that they come to City Hall, that you have something, you're not quite sure what yet, but you would like their professional expertise. And Darliana says, okay, yeah, give us about 30 minutes, wrapping up something here. But you know, we'll grab a skiff and zip on over, and we'll wait. How do we get to your? Wait, you want us to come to your Covenant Hall?
No.
Oh yeah,
City Hall.
City Hall.
City Hall.
City Hall. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
My mistake.
The lesser of the two halls.
Yeah. So so they agreed to meet you there in like half an hour.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. So
in the meantime,
go ahead.
Let's open the backpack.
Are you in the Covenant Hall?
No,
City Hall.
We knocked to City Hall.
Okay, so you knocked to City Hall, and again, Eric, as you're walking out, it's almost like the backpack is being sucked out, like expelled. So it comes out, and you are now in Alex's office, and nobody around. You have the backpack. You open up the backpack, and you look inside, and there are two objects. One is the Murdrum hexahedron, and you can see that it looks like a wireframe cube. It's like a wireframe square with a almost like a pearlescent sphere inside, and the sphere is not touching the edges of the frame. It's like floating there. You can see it's like that milky pearlescent, sort of like slowly swirling with this like light emanating from it. The other object, and you're kind of looking at it, you're kind of like, huh, that's odd. And you pull it out, and you see that on the cover of this book, it says Lennox Coventone.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be missing that.
And that, I think, is where we should leave it.
And you said it's the Lennox one, not the Lennon one.
Right. Whatever. Yeah, Lennox. That is the real town.
Yeah.
The good folks. Town.
Yeah, the good folks. It's the Lennox.
Not the edgelord.
Yeah.
So the edgelords were trying to steal it from the
goody two shoes.
It appears so. Yes.
I will also explain why the backpack did not want to go in our coven hall.
Because it's somebody else's coven tome. We should probably return it to them. Let's give the Murdrum hexahedron to the captain.
You can't use it.
Yep. and we'll politely return the Coven Tome to our friends in Lennox.
Okay.
But we'll have a chat to everyone before we contact the other coven.
Yeah.
Because there's something in this Coven Tome that the Lennon Coven wanted to get back to their boss.
Correct.
Carolyn, you remember something that you overheard.
Mhm.
And you remember overhearing one of them say, "It doesn't matter what's inside. It's the package the boss wants."
Mm.
So the backpack?
Or maybe just the book.
Yeah.
They've discovered.
Do you open the book and look through it?
That feels like an intrusion.
They're telling me.
I think
I don't feel comfortable looking through their tome.
Okay. All right.
I feel comfortable, but I think we should.
Let's pause here. Because I feel like this is going to be a big discussion.
It is.
Let's pause here, and we'll see each other all in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, then in 2 weeks, you can let me know how you wish to proceed, and we'll see what happens. You have obviously Darliana and her associate coming to talk with you about what it is you found. You can let the Lennox Coven know that you have their Coven Tome. You would not. Don't be surprised if within the next 30 minutes or so you get a text saying, "Oh my gosh, our Coven Tome's gone." But yes, and then you
If it took them 2 hours to realize.
they were okay, fair enough.
They were just cleaning up Bailey's house. Let them live.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't notice. Maybe they overheard you talking about a dishwasher, and so they're basically experimenting with their own dishwasher, trying to figure out what's the magic. I don't understand. It just cleans dishes. I don't get it. So in 2 weeks we'll pick up from there. You guys let me know how you want to proceed.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Of course. We'll see you guys soon. What's that?
Our illustrious godparent.
Did we leave it? Did we give her a full tank back?
We did. Yeah, her tank.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You did.
Okay.
Okay.
I just don't want that kind of wrath in my life. It's not part of my.
Was this 4 or 5? This was Stony Harbor 5?
Yes, 5.
Yes, it was 5.
Yes, episode 5. Yes. Okay.
Thanks for tuning in.
Alrighty.
You'll be happy to learn, CJ. I don't know if you saw anything, but there was no dishwasher shenanigans tonight.
I live for the dishwasher now, I have to say.
Well, that's not from the very beginning.
No, I was watching some of the live stream.
Okay. All right. Well, again, so 2 weeks from now, let me know how you guys want to proceed, okay?
Alrighty, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
So coming back just to say goodbye, CJ.